year in his second term on the one-year anniversary of his inauguration with a, at times, rambling White House news conference filled with a myriad of lies and attacks. Conservative radio host Eric Erickson wrote on his Substack today, quote, "The behavior of the President of the United States towards our European allies in Greenland is beneath the dignity of the presidency and is shameful," unquote. That was before the news conference. Let's discuss all this with presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. Professor, this was an extraordinary, nearly 2-hour-long news conference. As someone who has studied and written about many presidents, what stood out most to you?
Well, I think right off the bat, President Trump dismissing all of his PR people and saying they can't do it, only I can. Maybe he's right. But the result was very rambling and disassembling. It didn't have a core to it. It was sort of a themeless pudding. Clearly, he was concerned about what's going on in Minnesota and the public reaction against ICE and the idea of over enforcing in certain locations, but also the Greenland hanging over there. I mean, it's hard to believe he's going to be going to Davos now with Greenland, the talk of the world, instead of this unity, which is the core of U.S. foreign policy from Harry Truman all the way to first term Biden, which is NATO, NATO, NATO. So I'm not sure where he put points on the board. I don't think it was a great recap of his first year, but it reminds us, Jake, that really the year has been known about Trump being ubiquitous and that his feral belief that his presidential powers are unlimited.
Trump repeatedly blamed his predecessor, President Biden, during today's news conference. Do presidents typically talk this much about their predecessor after a full year in office? I mean, I get in the first few months you say we have to clean up the mess that so-and-so did. I mean, you know, Clinton said it about H.W. Bush, Bush said it about Clinton, and on and on. But at this point, he still does it. Is that normal?
I think he should drop the Biden beating up immediately. It's been a long year of doing that. You know, FDR would punish Herbert Hoover. It was called the Hoover Dam, and he stripped Hoover's name off of it and called it the Boulder Dam. He tripled and forced the idea of any homeless shelter was a Hooverville. But Joe Biden has prostate cancer. He's been sick. He's been through a lot. It's sort of bullying downward at this point, and it's not going to help him in the midterm elections to keep triple and doubling and quadrupling down on Joe Biden. So hopefully Trump and his advisors will put America first, as they claim, and stop working to wedge the country apart. Reagan was very, big landslide in 1980, but once Reagan, got shot and recovered from all of that drama, the Democrats coalesced enough around him, famously with Tip O'Neill and others. Trump just seems to want to continue to divide the country. And, you have to look, it's obvious to anybody that's his game plan.
Today, the National Archives announced a traveling exhibition celebrating the 250th anniversary of this great country, this great cradle of democracy. Of course, the country is marking this 250th birthday as the Trump administration is shunning many of our traditional allies, our longest ally, France, our special ally, the UK, as the president praises dictators such as Vladimir Putin, who he's inviting to sit on his Gaza board of peace. What do you make of all that?
Well, first off, this freedom plane is a great idea, I think, from the National Archives, which is to get some of our seminal founding documents out of D.C. and have them circulate around the country. It's going to begin at the World War I Museum in Kansas City and carry on to places like Atlanta, University of Southern California, L.A., many other places, culminating in the fact that it's America 250. We want to unify this country somehow. It's, I think, the overweening issue along with the affordability ones. And so let's all kind of remember that our country was built to last. It's not about a president or 2 years, but somehow we've got to kind of rally behind the founders' thinking and rally behind the Constitution and think more broadly instead of our partisan silos. And I think the freedom plane, just like the freedom train when we were young, I think is a good it's a good move by the National Archives.
Doug Brinkley, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Breaking news in Minnesota, how the U.S. Justice Department just escalated investigations there, including issuing subpoenas to 5 top officials in the state. New reporting first on CNN coming up next.